the day in some local woods. We had a mindfulness and nature workshop. So now I'm staying in an Airbnb with a number of the rest of the team. So the background is ugly, I'm afraid. This is my bedroom in the Airbnb. And there may be some noises. I've asked everyone to be quiet, and they will be, but there's going to be people coming to the front door at some point, just there. So if there's noise, you'll know what's happening. But yeah, really wonderful to see you again. It's been a few weeks because I've been away on retreat. Every year I try to have a month of personal retreat. I find that really, really important with my work. If my work is to come from a place of integrity and depth, I need to spend time with my own mind. So for a couple of weeks I was at home, and Sona and I are able to live separately. And he was cooking for me, which was amazing. And then we went up to North Wales, and we've got friends up there who were away. And they've got two different residences, as it were. So we were kind of together and apart. So I've been doing this work of sitting with my own mind, sitting with my own experience in wild, cold, rainy, windy North Wales a lot of the time. And so in tonight's meditation, what I wanted to do is bring a little bit of a flavor of what I was exploring. And but before we do that, I realize I've completely forgotten how to do these sessions. It's been a month, and normally people have a chance to say hello, don't they, in the chat box. So we've got Peter in Cardiff, Dorota in London. So I'll just spend a couple of minutes on this, the arrival, and then we'll move into the practice. So we've got Anne from Portland and Oregon. Haven't been able to join for a while, very glad to be here. And Lorian from Southern California, glad to see me back. Odette from Potter's Bar, and Toby from Pennsylvania in the States. Good, so I'm going to close the chat box now because I want to use the time for the meditation, obviously. We can have a chance to have a bit of discussion at the end. Now, you might have heard some clapping then. Don't know if you heard that. They've got Wimbledon on next door. So even though I've asked them to be quiet, I imagine there'll be some spectacular point at some point, and there will be cheering. But we can just enjoy that. The thing about working with our minds, being mindful, we don't need perfect conditions. And in some ways, having a bit of noise is good, because it means we can work with our minds at all times. Okay, so going back to what I wanted to explore in tonight's meditation. One of the areas of interest, shall we say, on my retreat, my solitary retreat, was sort of opening up to a sense of spaciousness inside, and opening up to a sense of my hard edges being softer. So there being this quality of fluidity and spacious kind of consciousness, if you like, that I realized was coexistent with discomfort and pain and all these other things that we have. That there was a resource I could tap into of something expansive, soft, fluid, open, gentle, that's always there. I'm increasingly convinced that this is always there. But what we normally do is we close down around it, and we sort of construct something very hard in our experience that crushes this sense of this inner spaciousness, which is always there. And it was quite good that it was windy, because when the wind, I tried to have a sense of the wind blowing through me. So rather than my body creating an impenetrable, stuck kind of barrier to the wind, just let it flow through me. And that life is like that. Life is always flowing. But the main thing was this quality of sort of spacious awareness, spacious consciousness, something open that that we can tap into alongside being kind and gentle to our discomfort and our pain. And of course, they can seem a bit paradoxical, but I'm increasingly realizing that getting to know the mind is shot through with paradoxes, that we need to really need to love this painful body at the same time as allowing what I call this painful body to be much more fluid and open and spacious. So we'll just do a practice exploring that today. We'll go into the body and then we'll drop inside and we'll open up, see if we can get a tiny little glimmer of something that's got a quality of openness within us. And we'll just rest there. We'll just rest there. So hopefully you'll find this interesting and also calming. Yeah. And it's very confidence inducing, knowing that there is something vast and open within us all the time, just waiting to be accessed, waiting to be listened to, waiting to be sort of sensitized to. Perhaps that's another way to put it. Okay, and I've got a really wonderful poem by Rainer Maria Rilke, which I'll read at the beginning, which I think describes us really well, where he says, "The inner, what is it if not intensified sky? The inner, what is it if not intensified sky?" That's just a one line from the poem, but I'll read the poem out in a moment. Okay, so I'm not enormously comfortable in this position, but I'll do my best. I've got my laptop propped up on a suitcase. It's all very Mickey Mouse, but I feel here with you all very fully, very strongly, and absolutely delighted to be here. Okay, so to begin with, let's begin to settle. You can close your eyes if you would like to, or you may prefer just to lower your gaze. And allowing the weight of the body to rest down onto the chair. Have a quality of arriving, of settling, and of resting. And I'm just going to pop next door and invite my lovely friends to be a little quieter. I'll be back in one moment. You just keep settling. Okay, I'm back. I'm sure they feel suitably chastened. Tried to say it nicely. Let's let our feet rest on the floor if they're in contact with the floor. Let's see if we can let our energy be rooted and grounded. So through the seat, through the feet, we're rooted, grounded, and stable. Allowing ourselves to be held and supported. We don't need to grip onto the body to pull away from gravity. Let's see if we can rest into the support of gravity, the support of the chair, the floor, or the bed if we're lying down. Letting the buttocks be soft. Coming into the abdomen now, Whole soft front of the torso between the pelvis at the bottom, the ribs at the top. Letting our breathing drop deep in the body. There's an opening on the in-breath, subsiding on the out-breath. Being careful not to force or strain. This feels uncomfortable for you. Perhaps you might like to broaden awareness to be aware of the whole torso. Just getting a sense of dropping inside the body, inside rhythm and flow of breathing, however it's presenting itself. Including the chest area, ribs, lungs, breastbone. It's resting inside breathing as best we can. And now including the whole back of the body. The lower back, middle, upper back, all being rocked and cradled by breathing. We're not focusing on breathing, but we're resting inside the natural breath. We're releasing back down into gravity, particularly with each out breath. So there's an opening, subsiding quality. And the whole torso. See if we can get a sense of the volume opening a little bit in all directions on the in-breath, subsiding a little bit in all directions on the out-breath. 360-degree breathing. It's the quality of receiving on the in-breath and letting go with each out-breath, always yielding back into the surface we're resting upon with each out-breath. The shoulders falling down away from the midline of the body into gravity, and the arms falling away from the shoulders with the hands supported in the lap or on the legs if we're sitting, in the body or the bed if we're lying down. And letting the fingers and the hands be soft. So we're not reaching for the future, holding on to the past, but just resting inside present moment experience. And coming into the neck and the head and the face. Letting the head be poised on top of the neck if we're upright, and letting the head be fully held by the pillow or the cushion if we're lying down. Letting the face be soft, the eyes, cheeks, lips, tongue, jaw soft. And now broadening to be aware of the whole body. Legs, buttocks soft, torso, arms, neck, head, face. This whole experience we label body as if it's a fixed and static thing. Let's rest deep inside with a broad, open, receptive awareness. And feel the way everything is changing. Sensations arising and passing, breathing arising and passing. Thoughts, emotions arising and passing. We've got discomfort or pain, noticing if there's any quality of contracting against it, tensing around it, rigidifying around it. And let's see if we can include it within our awareness, with softness, with kindness, and let this be flowing as well. What we label pain is a flow of sensations. Now I'll read this poem by Rilke to take us into the next phase of the meditation, now that we've established our soft, open, fluid foundation. So the poem goes like this. Ah, not to be cut off, not through the slightest partition, shut out from the law of the stars. The inner, what is it if not intensified sky, hurled through with birds and deep with the winds of homecoming? Excuse me, I'll read that again. Ah, not to be cut off, not through the slightest partition, shut out from the law of the stars. The inner, what is it if not intensified sky, hurled through with birds and deep with the winds of homecoming? So let's go deep inside now. And see if we can find the first little glimmerings of spaciousness somewhere within us. Something that feels a little more open, a little less stuck. Something of the flavor of the sky within us, clear blue sky. And just rest there if you find it. Not forcing, not straining around, just resting within it. And you might find that it very gently and gradually begins to expand a little bit as you rest there. If you can't find anything, you just feel really dense and stuck, full of pain perhaps. And seeing if you can bring a little bit of kindness and compassion to that experience. And maybe within this kindness and compassion, there's a tiny little glimmer of opening and resting there. It's important to be sensitive. What we normally do is we start pushing and shoving against the experience, which just shuts things down. It's more like a delicate kind of listening, not with the ear, but a kind of listening with awareness to these little glimmerings, these little openings. You might want to stay with one place, or you might want to move around. If you're drifting, you might want to come a little closer, be a little bit more precise with your awareness. If you feel a bit forced or strange, you might want to relax your awareness a bit more, always checking that the buttocks are soft. You're still yielding into gravity. And now let's broaden awareness to conclude. Resting inside the whole experience we label body, this flow of sensations, breathing, thoughts, emotions, all happening within the field of the body. Everything bathed in the sky, soft and open, even if just a tiny bit. And now let's let go of any effort whatsoever and just rest. Just sit, just lie, just absorb the practice. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, simply being. Now bringing a tiny bit of movement into the body, maybe the fingers, maybe the toes. See if we can keep this quality of openness going into movement and noticing any tendency to immediately over effort, start gripping, holding the breath. Keeping everything flowing, appropriate effort. Coming into bigger movements, however you want to, opening the eyes if you've had them closed and bringing the practice to a close. Yeah, just tuning into how you feel at the end of this practice. What's been the effect of this practice? Let me just go into gallery view so I can see you all. Yeah, what's been the effect of spending this for half an hour of your life? Tasting something a little bit more open, maybe. And if you couldn't, or you didn't, what was it like to bring a little bit of kindness and compassion to that? Because that, of course, can have that quality of little glimmering of openness in there somewhere. And I'll just read out some of the comments in case there's anyone here who would find it easier to hear things read rather than having to peer at the screen. Being tender with oneself. Kathy, thank you, Vidyamala. Got in touch with some grief, but grateful for the blue sky, a bigger container. And this too, yes. And this too. There's always, if you've got the grief or difficulty, there's always this other quality that we can access. Julie, I realised just how much tension I have been carrying today and need a rest. Anne, thank you, thank you, thank you. So appreciative of you and this practice. This was exactly what I and this experience I label body needed. Lorian, thanks Vidyamala. This was a lovely exercise, practicing the ability to invite Mara in for tea. Barking dogs, talking people, all can be smiled at and let go. So Mara in Buddhism is a figure that symbolizes sort of doubt or things that get in the way, things that obstruct us. He's a wonderful kind of demonic archetype, not necessarily the way we would think of demon, but more the sort of negative obstructing forces. So yeah, we can just invite it all in for tea. Anna, that was wonderful. I felt so open and spacious. Didn't want it to end. Thank you. Jakyajata, very relaxing, thank you. Some sadness today, but this changed. See, that's interesting, isn't it? One sentence, some sadness today, but this changed. That's what we can bring to our lives. Meg, realised how tired I am as I began to settle into the meditation. Lovely to have you back, Vidyamala. Oh, thanks, Meg. Viola or Viola, thank you so much. Tracy, thank you. Thank you. That has left me feeling awake and gentle. Really helped me accept what I'm currently feeling. So that's interesting again, as these paradoxes. You can be awake and gentle, because sometimes you might think being awake has got a kind of sharp quality to it, and being gentle has got a sleepy quality, but we can be awake and gentle at the same time. Yahura, sorry if I pronounced that badly. Thank you so much, Vidyamala. It was a privilege meeting you. This session has helped calm my mind and accept my back pain. So it sounds like you might be here for the first time, so a special welcome to you. Dorota, thank you, Vidyamala. I haven't found the space in the body, but rested inside myself. I like the connection with the sky. So again, that's very interesting. If I understand correctly, you didn't find that space, but you found a quality of rest. And then you like the connection with the sky, which is suggesting the importance of the imagination, that we can still connect with the imagined possibility of something sky-like within us, even if we don't exactly feel it. And that still has an effect. Catherine, I didn't want to come out of that practice. So calming. I felt like the top of my lying body had no boundaries. Very peaceful. I will look out for my hard edges more from now on. Thank you. Helen, I enjoyed just noticing little sensations in my body coming and going. Thank you. Katie, felt very spacious, including a little bit within the sore bits. Find your voice very stilling and soothing. Hope your cup feels more filled up following your retreat. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. It really does, yeah. Well, that's a bit of a blast being in the city, but also this kind of energy, which is interesting and stimulating, which is good. And yes, so you were able to bring spaciousness even to the sore bits. Well, of course, that's the great art, isn't it? It's not like we got these sore bits that we think, oh, I won't go there. I'll go to these lovely spacious bits over here, because then we just have tension because we're preferring this to that. But if we can bring spaciousness to everything, including the sore bits, then we haven't got that mind that's preferring this to that, which inevitably leads to tension. Sarah, thank you so much. I love the image of the sky inside the body. Good. Okay. Well, let's leave it there, and I can go and join my lovely team. They're probably all sitting on their energy out there. Although it was not completely quiet, you may have noticed. But I will be very forgiving. We got a nice comment here from Elena. Pain was bigger than anything else, but at the end, it was nice to notice a drop of kindness. That's really beautifully put, a drop of kindness. Even a drop is something. And then we can rest inside the drop. And there's a lovely principle of what we dwell on, we become. What we dwell on, we become. That's the nature of how the mind works. So by dwelling in the drop of kindness, that will enable that kindness to become reinforced and to get bigger. And then Anne and Ziggy, so appreciate you bringing your experience of your month's retreat back to us. That's nice. That's partly why I do it. I don't do it just for me. I do it so that I'm resourced and I've got something, a little bit more real to bring into all our lives. So I'm going to go. Ollie, if you wouldn't mind putting the donation link in, so if anybody would like to make a donation to help us keep this free, then you're very welcome to do that. And I'm back now, so I'll see you next Tuesday. And thank you all so much for coming and sharing this time with us all. So if you want to unmute yourselves to say goodbye, that's always a lovely thing. and have a good week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Vidyamala.
Bye,
everyone. Thank you.
Bye,
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. That was lovely. Thanks.
Have a good time in the city.
I am.
Go clubbing for us.
No, I'm probably going to go to Primark to buy some vests. That'll be about the extent of it. Do a tiny bit of shopping while I'm here, but I'll be in meetings a lot of the time as well. Lovely, and thanks, Ollie, in the background there for doing all the tech. And I'll see you tomorrow.